The nurse. Miss Anita Sen was a nurse in Angel Hospital. She lived all alone in a rented apartment. She was very hardworking and very diligent. During the corona pandemic, she was given the duty to take care of the corona patients. Since the number of corona cases increased as the days passed by, more and more patients of corona cases were admitted to the hospital. Soon, Angel Hospital was declared a corona hospital. Anita's duty hours increased. She had the on-call duty, meaning she had to go to hospital whenever she was called. She also had to work for long hours and often came home late to the apartment. Sometimes she even had to go to night duties. Days were exhausting for her. She had to work all the time with very little rest. Anita's working in hospital continued, caused lot of problems in the society. They hated her as she worked in the corona hospital and feared that since she worked in the corona hospital, she must be an asymptomatic carrier and she would definitely spread corona in the entire colony. They decided to tell Anita's landlord, Mr. Sushil, about this case. We don't like how Anita ma'am comes late to the apartment, sometimes goes out in the night and comes next morning. She works in corona hospital. She's a threat to us all. She can spread corona to us, Sushil said. She is a nurse and will definitely use PPT. She knows very well how to prevent corona infection and it's not harmful to us. No, but still, don't you watch the news? They say nowadays even doctors and nurses are getting affected by the virus. If they can be affected by the virus, then what about us? We are more vulnerable to this infection. We all know how deadly this virus is. We would suggest you to throw her out of the house. It will be beneficial for us all. Yes, but on which ground will I ask her to leave the place? She pays me rent timely. She doesn't even create any problem. Whatever she is doing for our benefit. I will talk to her regarding this issue. That day, Anita returned to her house at 7 p.m. Sushil knocked on her door. She was surprised to see him and asked what the matter was. Before Sushil could say anything to Anita, Anita's phone rang. She was immediately called for duty. She apologized to Sushil for not being able to attend him as she had to go for the duty. She got ready and went to the duty. Things like this happened. Anita was too busy to listen what Sushil said. Sushil, finding him to be defeated, told the society that he could not ask her to leave the place. The society member then decided to take the matters in their own hands. They would make Anita's life so miserable that she would leave the hospital herself. Harish was one of the members who hated Anita as she worked in the COVID hospital. He was absolutely hated the fact that Anita would come home late, as she often went out for night duties. He also believed that Anita was a bad influence for the society as she would lead a very indisciplined life for coming home whenever she wanted. As the society members have decided, they treated Anita very harshly, even stopped talking to her. She was not allowed to buy her daily items. Whenever she went to buy something, the shopkeeper shouted and misbehaved with her. Any corona cases which occurred there, Anita was to be blamed. Ladies of the colony would often gossip that she is a witch, a curse to the society. She is the one who is responsible for spreading corona. People, especially Harish, would often come to her house asking her to leave the apartment. Anita tolerated all these insults with a smile, but patience has its limits. She could no longer bear the insults of the society members. It felt to her that she was doing benefit to the people, but instead of thanking her, they were all cursing and misbehaving with her. She was being treated as an outcast by the people. One day, she being no longer being able to bear the pain, insult and harassment from the society members, decided to leave the apartment. She decided to go to her native place. She told the hospital committee about all the problems she is facing. They told her that they would make arrangement for her living and she had to continue giving the service to the people. She agreed to this and went back to the apartment. A few days later, a phone came to her. It was from the hospital. The receptionist said, "Miss Sen, we have arranged a place for you. You can stay. We are also sending a taxi. Get ready soon and be moved to the new residential place. We hope that you would like your new home and continue serving the corona patients." She started packing her bags. Leaving the apartment was emotional for her. She had been living there for the past 10 years. She told Sushil about it. After packing her things, she went to give the keys to Sushil. Sushil came to help her, see her off, and load her belongings in the taxi. Sushil said, I am sorry, Miss Anita said, that I cannot help you in the time of distress. What else I can do? I know how hard it is. You are trying to save people from this corona disease, but instead of feeling gratitude towards you, they are insulting you. I hope that they understand your importance soon. I don't like how you are leaving the apartment in this manner. I ask for your forgiveness from the people of the society who have harassed you and misbehaved with you. Anita said, Mr. Sushil, why are you asking for forgiveness? It's okay. It's our duty to save people. Goodbye, take care, stay safe. You too stay safe. Saying so, Anita sat into the taxi. The taxi drove away to her new apartment. She got off the taxi. There were people who helped her to load her things. After unpacking her things, she went to the bath. After a bath, she felt quite tired and exhausted and went to sleep. Days passed by like this. Anita started liking her new apartment. Her work schedule was exhausting. She almost had to work all the time, with nearly any time of rest, as more and more patients of corona were being admitted to the hospital. One day, Harish came to his office. He suddenly began to feel tired and exhausted. He quickly freshened up and went to bed. The next day, he started getting headache and nausea. Situations grew worse as the days passed by. He started getting fever for a few days. There were non-stop dry cough, and he also lost the sense of smell and taste. Things grew worse for Harish. He would often suffer from shortness of breath. This caused a worry to the family members. They called the ambulance for help. Due to a high increase of corona cases, the ambulance service was not available to them. Even though they somehow managed to get an ambulance, the cost was very high. Besides, there were no bed available for them. Harish's wife, Meena, worried a lot. Soon the society came to know about Harish's suffering from corona. They all decided to boycott him and his family. People avoided them. Meena could not understand how she would be able to cope up with the situation. Nobody was willing to help them, and they were all being treated as untouchables by the society. Each passing day, Harish's health grew from bad to worse. Meena then remembered Anita. Since Anita was a nurse in a COVID hospital, she was also Meena's neighbor once upon a time. Anita was definitely help Harish. Meena called Anita and said, Anita, how are you? How are your days going? It's fine. I have to work all day and night, take care of corona patients. There is hardly any time for me to rest. Anita, there is something I have to tell you. I am extremely sorry that my husband Harish treated you horribly, but today I need your help. What's the matter, Meena? I am ready to help you. Anita, Harish is having dry cough, headache and fever for the past few days. I did his corona test and the results came positive. His health conditions are getting from bad to worse. Ambulance service is not that much available, and even if it is available, they are charging huge amount of money. People of our society is refusing to help me when they heard about Harish suffering from corona. Since you are a nurse in Angel Hospital, could you make some arrangements so that Harish can get admitted in the hospital? Yes, sure, Meena. Why not? I will talk to the department tomorrow and let you know. I promise nothing will happen to Harish. I will definitely make arrangements for him. As told by Anita, the next day the ambulance arrived to take Harish to the hospital. People from the municipality arrived to disinfect their house. Harish was soon admitted to the hospital and his treatment began. Anita was appointed to take care of Harish. She took good care of him. She attended him especially as he was her neighbor, and Meena requested her to do so. She allowed Meena on the permission of the doctor to visit Harish often. She told Meena about his day-to-day conditions and how they were trying his best to help him. Days passed by on this like this. Soon Harish recovered from corona. He was also tested corona negative and he was discharged from the hospital. He went home. Harish felt guilty how horribly he behaved with Anita. He remembered how he used to hate her as she worked in a corona hospital. Even after all this, she helped him when he suffered from corona. How she had made arrangements for his treatment despite his misbehavior with her and making her condition miserable in the society, she was willing to help him when he was ill and nobody was willing to help him. One day he called Meena and said, Anita is not only a good nurse but also a good human being. I am so grateful to her. She saved my life despite me being horrible to her. Meena said, Harish, do one thing. Why don't you tell Sushil to take Anita back to the apartment? That way you can also repent your actions towards her. Harish said, Tomorrow I will tell Sushil all about it. The next day, Harish told Sushil about taking Anita back to the apartment. He readily agreed. He went to Angel Hospital and asked if he could meet Anita. The receptionist asked him to wait for some time. A few minutes later, Anita came. She was surprised to see Harish and asked if everything was all right. Harish said, I am sorry, Anita, for misbehaving with you and making your life miserable. I am indeed grateful to you for saving my life. Back then, I didn't realize what hardship the health workers like doctors, nurses have to face to keep ourselves safe. They sacrifice their life, family, time, etc. They do it for our benefit so that we can live happily and peacefully in this pandemic. All I can say is a thank you. Anita smiled on hearing these words for Harish. Harish further said, I have already spoken to Sushil. He is willing to take you back to your apartment. From now onwards, the members of our society will bear all your expenses. You just give a good service to people like this.